Hello students, let's begin with the new topic of food crops and other than grains, that is coffee. India produces about 4% of the world's coffee production, and for the Arabica variety we are well known in the world. Its cultivation is basically done in the Baba Budan Hills and the Nilgiri Hills in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. These are coffee producing areas in the country. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka being the largest producer of the coffee, followed by Tamil Nadu and Kerala. After that, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, few parts of Odisha and the northeastern states, they all also contribute into the coffee production. Next are the horticulture crops. India is the largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world. That is, the cultivation of fruits and vegetables is termed as horticulture crops. Okay, and we are the largest producer. We produce about 13% of the world's vegetation. It can be grown in a variety of soils because fruits and vegetables can be grown in different parts of the India. Example, that apples that are grown in the Jammu and Kashmir, in the Uttarakhand state, they are of good variety. Mangoes of the Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. Oranges that are produced in that is your Nagpur and Cherrapunji, they are best variety. Bananas of the Kerala, Mizoram, they are also good variety. So in all these areas different soils are found. Grapes that are found that are available in the Maharashtra. See, Maharashtra have black soil and Andhra Pradesh whereas have red soil. So both these grapes can be grown in both variety of the soil. Major producers, as I told you earlier, that oranges, Nagpur, Cherrapunji, banana, Kerala, Mizoram, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, lychee and guava, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, pineapples, Meghalaya, grapes, Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra, apples, apricots, pears, apricot is your Khumani, pears, walnuts and of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh are of great demand all over the world. India is important producer of pea, cauliflower, onion, cabbage, tomato, brinjal and potato. These are the major food producing states of India. First number Andhra Pradesh, then comes your Bihar, then comes your Maharashtra, Gujarat, then your Karnataka, then your Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, then Bihar and West Bengal and Chhattisgarh. These are the major 10 fruits producing states. Now comes to the non-food crops. First is your rubber. See, rubber is an equatorial crop. It can be grown both in the tropical and subtropical areas. If you remember in class 9th, I have told you what is about that is tropical and subtropical area. Tropic of Cancer passes from the center of the India. So the southern part of India that lies in the tropical area, and above the area that is northern part of India that is above the Tropic of Cancer, that is subtropical area. Tropical area is the area that lies between both the tropics. So India lies both in the tropical and subtropical area. So this rubber can be grown in both the parts of the country. Climate, it requires moist and humid climate, that is humidity is required for it. Rainfall 200 centimeter, temperature 25 degrees Celsius. Largest producer is Kerala, followed by Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andaman Nicobar Islands. Because these areas have hot climate, it requires high temperature and all these areas are near to the equator. That's why it requires hot climate. These are the how rubber is produced. See, it is cut from here and then latex is taken, it comes out and it is collected into that mud pot. It is collected into a mud pot. Distance between two trees is about 7 meter and among the two trees is 3 meter. Fiber crops. In this, cotton, jute, hemp. Hemp is also the variety of jute. Natural silk are the major fiber crops. Cotton, it is derived, and jute, it is derived from the crops. It is a crop only. Fourth one is obtained from the cocoons. That is your silk is obtained from the cocoons. Railing or the silkworm, it is called as your sericulture. Next comes your cotton. Cotton, India is the largest producer of cotton in the world, and Indian market is also the largest market in the Asia. That is the Ahmedabad being as the largest producer of the cotton products. It is a kharif crop. It is one of the main raw material for the textile industry. Basically grown in black cotton soil in the Deccan Plateau. Temperature required 15 degrees Celsius. Growing time 21 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius. Rainfall 50 to 100 centimeter. It requires fixed 210 frost-free days and bright sunshine. Maturity, it requires 6 to 8 months. Major producers are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. The largest producer is Maharashtra because Maharashtra is totally occupied with the black soil. These are 10 cotton producing states in India. First, here it is in the map, it is given Gujarat, then Maharashtra, then comes your Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, then after that Karnataka, then Haryana, Rajasthan and your Punjab. And your 10th one is Odisha. This is jute. Jute, it is also called as golden fiber. It can be grown in the fertile soil, that is the fertile alluvial soil. Temperature, it requires high temperature, that is 25 degrees Celsius. Rainfall 170 to 200 centimeter. Humidity 70% to 90% must for the jute crop. Use making of gunny bags, mats, ropes, yarn. Yarn is the thread that is made up of the jute, carpets and other artifacts. Its drawback is due to high cost and it is losing its market, and popularly nylon is becoming popular. This is jute. See the color of the jute, it is called as golden fiber. These are the 10 jute producing states in India. The largest producer being as West Bengal, then Bihar, third is Assam, fourth is Andhra Pradesh, fifth is Odisha, sixth is Meghalaya, seventh is Nagaland, eighth is Tripura, ninth is Uttar Pradesh, now next comes technological institutional reforms. Technological institutional reforms, that was the changes done in the agriculture sector by the government. India is practicing agriculture since ancient times. This you all know. That is the starting of the early man. When the early man came to the India, when the early man was there, he also practiced the agriculture only. First he was dependent on the hunting and gathering. Later on, he started that learning the agriculture. He knows about learning agriculture, leading a settled life and learning about agriculture. Many farmers today also depend upon the monsoon and natural fertility of the soil. Because all the farmers in India, they are not rich. Only few farmers are there, or few states that are rich due to green revolution. But many are there who still depend upon the natural fertility of the soil and the monsoon. Agriculture provides about 60% of the livelihood to 60% of population. It needs some serious technical and institutional reforms. Technical reforms. In 1980s and 90s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated which induced both technical and institutional reforms. Provision of crop insurance against drought. This was started by the government. That is, insurance of the crop has been done so that if any natural calamity occurs, the government can pay to the people. Flood, cyclone, fire and disease. Institutional reforms. Grameen banks, cooperative societies, banks for providing loans at lower rate of interest, KCC, Kisan Credit Card, Personal Accidental Insurance Scheme, that is PAIS, that is if any problem occurs with any accident occurs with any of the situation. So, the government used to pay for them. Weather forecast bulletins are there, agriculture programs for farmers were introduced on the radio and the television. See, nowadays that earlier when the Doordarshan was the only channel, so they used to give, that is Krishi Darshan program. Now Krishi Darshan has become a separate channel of the Doordarshan, that they are providing with the news regarding the new seeds, HIV seeds, regarding the new technology, regarding harvesters are there, threshers are there, combines are there that the farmers can use. The new fertilizers, chemicals, insecticides, pesticides they can use for their crops. The government also gives minimum support price. Minimum support price is the price given to the farmer, that is if suppose that is if the crop fails, so government has fixed the price, suppose 20 rupees per kg. So government will pay that minimum price of 20 to the farmer if the crop fails. Remunerative and procurement price. See, this is the Kisan credit card that the farmer can take the loan with the help of this credit card. Personal accident insurance. In this, how would you pay your medical bills are there? What if you had an accident and were unable to work? However, would you manage your household expenses? Personal accident insurance is a smart idea. Make sure your bills get paid and your family gets looked after. These are the features for this personal accident insurance scheme. These are the Grameen Bank. Symbol for the Grameen Bank is there. Multi-state cooperative societies are there. Cooperative societies are societies that provide loan to the farmers at minimum rate of interest. Next comes your Gramdan. Gramdan and Bhudan. See, Vinoba Bhave, he was a spiritual higher of the Mahatma Gandhi. He participated in many satyagraha. He was one of the important votaries of the Mahatma Gandhi in Gram Swaraj concept. Sri Ramchandra Reddy stood and he offered 80 acres of land to distribute among the landless villagers. This act was called as Bhudan. After seeing this, many villagers also, they get up and they have distributed their villages. That was known as Gramdan. This Bhudan Gramdan, it was initiated by Vinoba Bhave. And it was known as bloodless revolution. Because in this, there was no... It was without... it was completely full of... It's completely full of non-violence. That's why it is called as bloodless revolution. This is the image of the Vinoba Bhave, who was the freedom fighter and helped Mahatma Gandhi a lot in this, in the freedom struggle. Next, technical reforms. In technical reforms, it is collectivization and consolidation of land holdings. If you remember in the starting, I have given you in the starting on page number 35, left hand side, that is your before commercial farming, a paragraph was there and given in your book. Though the right of inheritance leading to the division of land among successive generations has rendered land holding size uneconomical. I have given you the example of right to inheritance. Right to inheritance means that is dividing the land into the next coming up generations. If the father have 4 sons, he will divide his land into 4 parts. So now the government has started to collectivize, consolidate land को collect करके इकट्ठा करना, so that we can give quantity and the good quality also of the crop. Cooperation and abolition of zamindari. Land reform was the main focus on first 5-year plan because right of inheritance have already led to the fragmentation of the land holdings. So first 5-year plan have focused on the collectivization and consolidation of land holdings. Government introduced agriculture reforms in 60s and 70s. Green Revolution and White Revolution, it was also called as Operation Flood. Green Revolution, that is, it was applicable to only few states, example Punjab, Haryana. So that's why these states today also, they are rich states in the terms of agriculture. Farmer is quite rich in these states. And with the coming of the Green Revolution, they have given more importance to the production of wheat and rice, as these two are the staple food crops of the India. So that is, quality of both the crops have increased day by day. White Revolution, that is, it was also applicable to the state of Gujarat and Haryana. Gujarat, that is the Amul industry, is in the Gujarat only. In the Haryana, we have many industries. Like Madhusudan is there in the Haryana. Verka is in Punjab, is there. In Karnal also it is there. So these states have been popular due to this White Revolution only for the milk products. This is contribution of agriculture to the national economy and output. Agriculture has backbone of the Indian economy. In 1951, you can see the share. It is but declining day by day. 56.5%, 61, 40.39, 38.1%, 31.72 in 81, 1991 17.4%, 2001 15.7%, 2011 14.5%, 2018 14%. This sector is providing employment and livelihood to the population about 42.38% in 2019. This is declining day by day because the reason is that people are moving towards the secondary and tertiary sector. As they are getting more employment over there, they are getting more salaries over there. That's why the people are sending their, farmers are sending their children also to do the job in the secondary and tertiary sector. Now these are the efforts that is made by the government to improve agriculture sector. What the government has done for agriculture sector. Decline in agriculture sector will lead to the decline of the other sectors of the economy. This is there. If we have example, if we have less production of sugar cane in the agriculture sector, automatically we will have the less production of sugar in the secondary sector. Suppose earlier we are producing 100 bags of sugar cane, 100 bags of sugar, and due to the decline of the sugar cane production in the agriculture sector, we are producing 80 bags of the sugar. Earlier these 100 bags are carried by the suppose 5 trucks. Now if the 80s have produced, 80 bags are produced, it will be carried out by the 3 to 4 trucks. Okay, so see, 1 truck have reduced in the secondary sector, so that's why it will lead to the decline of the other spheres of the economy. Less will be reached to the market, all people won't be able to get, so it will lead to the decline of the tertiary sector also. In this regard, Government of India had made concerted efforts to modernize agriculture. Indian government formed several institutions: Indian Council of Agriculture Research, agriculture universities, veterinary services and animal breeding centers. Horticulture development is there, that is more giving encouragement to cultivation of fruits and vegetables. Research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast, so that farmers can come to know about the right time for the rainfall also, because rainfall is also necessary along with the irrigation also. Improving rural infrastructure also. Because in the rural areas still today infrastructure, that is communication, transportation network is not proper. All the farmers can't afford the modernized transportation system, so they are depending upon the old techniques only, like on the bullock cart also. So to improve this rural infrastructure, the government has taken the steps.